What's up everybody, Troy here with Gorilla Mad. We're here with a 2023 Toyota Tundra. This one is a TRDPro. We're gonna give you guys an exclusive look at our new product line for the 2022 and up Toyota Tundra. And we're gonna install each piece with you. You're gonna get to see exactly how everything is done. And when we're all done, we're gonna take this bad boy outside. We're gonna get some video on this, give you an exclusive first look on the Tundra Terrain graphics kit from Gorilla Mad. Let's go. As with any decal install, of course, you want to have basic cleaning supplies. We have our cleaning solution. We have microfibers, clay bar if you need it, alcohol, and a tack rag always comes in handy right before the install. As far as installing, this is super easy. You don't need a tape measure, but you can always have it handy if you need it. You're going to need some magnets. You're going to need some tape because not everything is steel on this vehicle. And you're going to need basic squeegees and, of course, a blade. So the basic technique that you're going to use for all these graphics is the hinge technique. So just a review, what you're going to do to hinge a graphic is you can use tape or magnets. In this case, we're going to use magnets. And you're going to put one roughly in the middle, and you're going to peel the decal. Now it's always easier to pull the paper from the vinyl than it is to pull the vinyl from the paper. So you want to peel that back. You're going to cut off some of that excess, and then you're just going to squeegee this down right where it lays. Just let it go right where it wants to go. Then you're going to pop the magnets off, and then again, easier to pull the paper from the vinyl than it is to pull the vinyl from the paper. And then you can support that graphic out there like that, and you just squeegee it down right where it wants to go. That's going to ensure that the graphic goes in the exact place that you want it every single time. Super easy. Now the available options that we have for the Tundra Terrain Kit are the passenger and driver lower doors. We've got the tailgate. We've got the rear bedside decals. And of course, we've got our hood graphic. Now these are available in a couple different styles with the Tundra and also a solid block instead of the cutout. So be sure to check the website and find the best option for you. Now, as with any graphics install or wrap, you want to make sure you do a final prep with your 70% isopropyl alcohol. And you just want to make sure that surface is completely degreased before you mock up your graphic. Okay, so we're going to start out with our lower door graphic. Now, the Tundra designation should always be on the front door. And there's a couple things I want to point out about this. It's super easy to register the graphic, and what that means is it's super easy to make sure that it gets put on level and centered. We got a couple things going on. This is pre-spaced for you, and so you're just going to align that right along the bottom side of the door. Now the other thing you're going to notice is this backing paper keeps going all the way to the edge of the doors, which is going to make sure that your graphic gets perfectly centered every single time. So mock that up, make sure it's level with the door edges, and make sure it's level with the bottom, and you're ready to install it. So one of the things you're going to notice, you're going to need your magnets back here. The rear door is steel. The front door is not. So you will need some tape to hold that. So I've got this mocked up. It's butted up on either side of the door. It's level with the bottom. Now I'm just going to do my hinge technique just like we practiced. So we're going to pull this tape. Let's get rid of this. And one little trick that I like, if you guys have these, I like these magnets with a little rubber cover on them because a lot of times I use it to kind of hold my graphic into place while I'm peeling this. So peel this back. And we're going to trim it. You don't have to trim it right at the door, but I'm going to do it that way just to make it nice and clean. And now for me, what I'm going to do, all this material is repositionable and it's bubble free. So I'm going to come all the way down to the end here, and I'm going to just gently, I'm making sure that's flat, and I'm just going to gently place that exactly where I want it to go. And then I'm going to go ahead and just lock that down. Okay. And now we'll just do the same thing to the other side. So we can just peel this. I'm just going to come back here and I'm looking down there to make sure everything's flat. And I'm just kind of pulling just really gently. And then we're just going to go ahead and just squeegee this down. Boom. Now go ahead and just thoroughly squeegee. Make sure you get all the air out. Use overlapping strokes. If you notice, I'm using a 45-degree on my squeegee. And we'll just go over that really thoroughly one last time. Make sure you got all the air out. Okay, now we're ready to peel, and then the last thing is we just need to trim that in between the doors. So when you're peeling this transfer paper, if you guys have seen my other videos, you know, keep it against the vehicle. You don't want to pull away this way because that's going to pull the graphic away from the vehicle. We want to just keep it low profile. Just pull it all the way out. I'm going to switch the spots here. Trim this right down the center. If you're not good with a blade, just find somebody that is. And then we're going to open up the door. And that way we can just fold that right around the edge there. So there we go. You see that took me about 5 minutes to install. It's perfectly level. It's perfectly centered. Can't get any easier than that. The passenger side is going to be the exact same process. Okay, next we're going to do our tailgate graphic. This is another option available with the terrain kit for the 2022 and up Tundra. Now this one is also pretty foolproof. Can't mess this up. This graphic right here is going to hit all these body lines. And I went through the same process to make sure that the backing paper aligns perfectly with the body line. So all you have to do is you're going to need a total of about 4 magnets just to make sure everything's really good to go. But you just want to go back and forth. You want to hit this body line. I don't know if you can pick that up in the camera. You can see that other body line there. So the backing paper is going to hit there. There, and it's going to follow these contours. So what I do is throw a magnet in each corner. And as long as you're good to go on all the corners, the edge should match up right to the tailgate, and this top edge should hit that body line. Everything else should fall exactly into place. The letters should fall exactly into place with the indentations. Now, worth noting, this is for the TRDPro. This obviously will not work for the standard Tundra because it says Tundra right there. So this currently right now, we just have the TRDPro. Okay, so again, once we've got that into place, you can kind of feel for the letters if you want, but they should be pretty much lined up as long as you've got everything registered there. Now we're going to do our hinge technique again, just like we practiced. I'm going to double up on all these magnets because I really don't want this thing to move. Again, we're going to fold this back. I like to use one of these magnets with rubber on them. I can just kind of hold that into place while I peel this. Just go slow. These letters are cut out, so just make sure you don't lose any details there. Okay. Now we're going to take this and we're going to swing this over and we're going to drop this right where we want it. So again, I'm looking down there to make sure it's pretty flat. If you see it get skewed, that means you're going in the wrong direction. And I want to just perfectly hit this body line right there. And I'll just gently pull down in that corner there and just tack it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my squeegee right across the middle. Just real light, just get that kind of locked down. Okay, I'm not worried about the upper or the lower yet. I just want to lock it down right on the middle because this does have a little bit of a curve to it. Okay, so now we're gonna do our part 2 of our hinge. Again, we're gonna fold it back because it's easier to pull the paper away from the vinyl. And we're just gonna make sure we don't drop that. And then we come over here and we just repeat the process. Again, I'm looking there. I don't want to skew it this way or that way. Just want to go right down the middle. And then I'll just hit that body line right there and right there. Just gonna drag my squeegee across. Just lock that down. Now from here, you're gonna see some slight wrinkles. Don't let that scare you. You just wanna keep working back and forth. You're just gonna press those out. That's just due to the amount of curve that's on the tailgate. So work everything down like that. Okay, and then lastly, if this wrinkles at all, you can just gently kind of pop that up. And if you notice, I just work all the attention to the outside and then just go ahead and go squeegee straight up there. And that'll just get that decal completely locked into place. Now I'm going to start to go over it a little more firmly, especially these small details. Before we pull this liner, you want to make sure that these details are really locked on there. And then once I've got the letters on there, I'm just going to go over everything really firmly. You want to see that dark squeegee stroke in there. That lets you know that you're really getting a good contact pattern on there. Okay. Now once we're sure we got that squeegeed really firmly on all the edges and corners, we can go ahead and pull the air mask. Same technique. We're going to keep it really low profile against the vehicle. When you get to these letters, you want to really slow down and you want to watch and make sure that you're not pulling any of that stuff off. Now we're going to do the hood graphic. Now this hood is not steel, so you can't use magnets on there. So you are going to need some blue tape. I'd recommend some 2-inch tape at least. It's just going to hold everything in place a lot better than the little 1-inch blue painter's tape. So what I usually like to do is start out with a couple small pieces, and you're going to want to go side to side. Now, although you don't need a tape measure for this one, you can definitely check a couple dimensions just to make sure that everything's okay. and I'm going to show you how to do that. But in general, this outline right here is going to want to hit this body line, if you can pick that up in the camera. So I'm going to take a really educated guess to start, and what I'm looking at is I want to see where that shadow starts. So I'm going to line it up right there, and then this is going to butt up right to the back of the hood. So I'm going to start that right there, and I'm going to go ahead and just put a piece of tape down just to hold that in place. And then I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to make sure everything lines up the way I want. And then I'm going to butt that right up to the back of that hood, and I'm going to put a piece of tape there. And I am going to bounce back and forth a couple times just to make sure everything is exactly where I want it to go. And if you wanted to, I would recommend you use a flexible tape measure. You can get these for pretty cheap. If you wanted to, which is not a bad idea with this one, you can check the distance from the corner of the hood to either the paper or the graphic. You should be at about 11 3/8 on each side. It's just a quick reference to make sure you're centered. Now once you have that and you're pretty sure you're centered, the best way is if you want to look at these body lines, and you should just be able to see a little light reflection on each side. So you just want to make sure that it looks symmetric and that you can just see the light line hitting that body line on each side. Now we're going to do our hinge, and again we do need to use tape for this because unfortunately we can't use magnets. And I'm going to double this up. Again, we don't want this moving. So I'm going to hinge this roughly right across the middle, same spot on each side. Okay, and then we're going to pull our corner pieces so we can fold that over. Okay, now for this hood graphic, similar to the technique that I actually showed on the TRX video, I'm going to show you, if you don't have a buddy to help you, how you can actually install this by yourself, because it's a little tricky with how big the hood is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our hinge. But the most important step when we do that, so we're going to pull that down just to there. You want to make sure you have a really sharp knife. And we're going to create our hinge right there. Now the most important step is do not throw this away yet. This is going to allow you to get that hood graphic on really, really easy by yourself. So I'm going to butt that up right there. And then I'm just going to take this graphic and we're going to start squeegeeing down. I'm going to fold this over and get it out of our way. And that's going to make sure it doesn't stick to the hood before we're ready. So then what I can do is I can come over to the side. I'm going to get up on the tire here to get a little taller. And now I can just pull this out little by little. So I'm just going to allow myself to get a hinge started there. And I will have to jump back and forth and kind of go side to side, but that's okay. Okay. I could probably just pull this all the way out now. Okay, now I can pull all the tape. If I can get that started. Now I'm just going to come down here right in front of the grill on the center of the truck, and I'm just going to use that backing paper, kind of pull this where I want to go. Remember, when you're installing, smooth is fast. You just want to control your squeegee, and whatever you do to one side, do it the exact same on the other side. And I'm just gonna get up here one more time. And I'm just gonna do the exact same pattern that I did before. And I just wanna make sure that I got a really solid contact with the adhesive before I pull that liner. And if there's any bubbles in it, we can get some of them out now. So we've got our bedside decal right here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna butt this up on this body line right here. And then we can always move stuff around. But if you line that up with that body line right there, and then this part right here is made so that it actually hits that body line right, if you can pick that up in the camera. So that's gonna hit right there. So if you slide that so that hits that, and that this matches up right there, that should be all you need to register that graphic, and then you can go ahead and start your installation. So we're just gonna brush that over like that. We don't have to squeegee real crazy, we just don't want that to move. And now, so again, it's easier to pull the liner away from the vinyl like this. So you can peel that off. Just get rid of that. And now we're just gonna take this and we're gonna swing this to go right where we planned for it to go. And then we're just gonna squeegee that down. So squeegee right in the middle. And then you can divide the graphic into two pieces. So then we're gonna work the bottom. And sometimes you might have to give like a little bit of tension on there. As you can see, not much. And we'll just squeegee that out like that. And now I can come back and finish off the top separately. And there we go. Now, before I peel this paper, now I do want to actually go through and squeegee a bit harder. And I'd recommend a hard squeegee with that. And you just want to make sure you hit all your edges. Just really make sure you get those edges before you pull this air mask liner off of there. So this liner is called Air Mask. This is included with our premium products, and it's a flexible material. It's a lot more flexible than the cheap paper. So we like to use a more expensive flexible liner, and then it's clear so you can see what you're doing. So then the last step is you're gonna peel this back. There we go. So the finished product should just follow that body line. And then it's gonna hit right on the corner of the tail light on that body line, just like we planned. baby. That's it. Thanks for watching. You can buy all these directly from our website, GorillaMad.com. The link is in the description. Let us know what you think in the comments. Are there any other pieces that you guys think we missed that we should make for this thing? Leave a comment. Let us know. Again, thanks for watching. Out.